the key is to just keep doing it, because the more that you do it, the more you practice it, the more you're likely to do it more often, right? So that's great, man. I'm so glad that you had that experience. And hopefully the other athletes on here can just hear that and know that maybe you guys want to try it too. Because it can be for anything, that visualization, right? Even if you're taking BP, I tell it to our college guys, like, just when we tell them to, we say, hey, first round we're going up the middle, so we're going gap to gap or up the middle. And the guys on deck, just visualize yourself, picture yourself hitting that ball exactly where you want it, what contact you want to make, and maybe if it's picturing it hit off the screen, the L screen or something, whatever that is for you. But you can give yourself a pretty good advantage, because when you do that, your brain already thinks that you've done it. It's just adding to the physical reps. It doesn't replace them like we talked about, but it just adds to it. Okay. So yeah, great example. Thanks, Ario. Um, and last week we did talk about creating those successful outcomes. So, just, I know we just touched the surface on visualization, but after this is kind of over in the next couple of weeks, if anyone wants to do more, reach out to me. And I can do some private stuff or whatever if you're interested in doing that. Because we really just touch the surface and just give you like the basic skills to be able to do that. And then it's up to you to kind of practice on your own. But to get really good at it, you just got to do it. Just like mental reps, boys, just like the physical reps. Mental reps. All right. Um, any questions about last week? Yeah.
I just
Caleb.
thought I'd share. I was watching the video and I
Yeah.
just finished watching it, and went to study for a social study test, and I
Yeah.
visualized me getting good on it, and I got 90%, which I haven't got before in that class.
No way.
Yeah, it was actually pretty cool.
Right on, man. Congratulations. That's it's powerful stuff. Like, I love hearing about it. It makes me smile. And it's so fun for me to hear that you guys are using it. And like I said, it's not going to give you 100% on your test. It's not going to make you hit 400-foot shots every time with the bat, but it will help you get the results that you want, or get closer to what you want every time that you do it, right? The more we practice it. So that's awesome, man. So happy to hear that. Thanks, Caleb. That was great. Yeah, so we're just going to continue building. We've kind of started building that foundation for you guys, and now we're going to just keep building that structure. Keep building it up, making it stronger and stronger and stronger, so you have all these tools and all these resources to kind of rely back on when you are noticing that you're not getting the results that you want. And now you have a process to try something different, to get a different result. Okay, when you're not getting the results you want. Process and a strategy, right? And that's the whole point of doing what we're doing here. So this week, boys, session 4, the learning process. So we're going to talk about how we learn. Okay. And this is important for us as players, as people. We're learning new stuff all the time, and we want to try and optimize how we learn. Okay. And noticing a little bit about ourselves and how that happens, by recognizing our own personal learning style, and then optimizing our learning style, but by me sharing some tools with you about how you can optimize your own unique personal learning style. Okay. Was anyone able to do the assessment? Yeah. That the assessment that I sent out? Yeah. All right.
I'm just
Has
figuring
anyone
out the
done any?
marking right now.
Okay. Has anyone done anything like that before?
No.
Okay. So we'll talk about it uh, as we get into that kind of section about it. And yeah, we'll dive into it a little bit more. But it's just, again, it's another tool. It's a self-awareness tool for you. So now that we know you know some things about yourself, well, you will know some things after I kind of explain a little bit more about what the purpose of that was and how you can use that, knowing that you can use that knowledge now to help yourself, you know, in situations where you are learning and maybe you don't understand something and your coach is telling you something or teacher's telling you something and you're just not quite understanding what they're doing. And, you know, sometimes we just need it maybe explained in a different way. Okay. So I want to talk about it, but I want to wait. I want us to get there. I want us to make sure that we go through the process so that we learn properly. All right. Sound good? All right. So this is just Carl Yastrzemski, guys. You probably have maybe never heard of him. He's an old time baseball player, but I thought this was an interesting quote from him from years ago. Um, he just said, I think about baseball when I wake up in the morning. I think about it all day and I dream about it all night. The only time I don't think about it is when I'm playing. Okay. So one of the things that we are going to learn today is that when we get to a place, there's actually a learning cycle. We kind of have an awareness of learning and then we start doing something new and then we practice it and then we get to the point where it's just part of what we do. We don't have to think about it anymore. Okay. So that's what he's talking about there. So I thought this was a really good quote because if you have to think about how to hit a baseball when you're trying to hit a baseball, you're probably not going to be that successful, you know, or give yourself the chance to be as successful as if you've practiced it so much that that motion or, you know, what you're trying to do is just natural. It's just part of what you do. Just kind of like brushing your teeth. You don't have to think about that. You just do it because you've done it, you know, how many times, right? Yeah, Yastrzemski too. He was a pretty good player, Hall of Famer, Triple Crown winner. Do you guys know what Triple Crown is in baseball? Yeah. Okay. So Triple Crown winner, 18 All-Star games, MVP of the American League and Major League Baseball, 7 Gold Gloves, 3 batting titles, 452 home runs, and he actually spent 23 years with one team, which you don't really see that often anymore. But pretty interesting dude. If you ever want to look up some old time baseball players, he's a good guy to kind of look up and learn a little bit about him. All right. Another quote here: all learning, behavior, and change is unconscious. Okay. I know that doesn't really maybe make sense, just it sitting there like that and reading it. But when we talked last week, we talked about the conscious mind. You know, our brain has a strategy for us to be successful, and our conscious mind, the surface stuff, that's how we know what we want to do. Okay. Our conscious mind tells us, you know, this is what I want to do. This is the goal I want to achieve. Our unconscious mind finds the way for us to get there. Okay. Finds the blueprint, the strategy for us to get there. Okay. Because our brain does want us to be successful. So it's going to find us a way, but it's comes from the unconscious level. Okay. And that's a little bit more neuroscience-y stuff than maybe you guys wanted to know or need to know, but you can do some research on that, on the unconscious mind. It's kind of cool. All right. This is the head. I'm not going to go through it again because we got a lot of stuff to cover today. Just wanted to give you a visual here of, you know, and reminder of how we do view the world through our own unique experience. Everything we experience is unique to us. And that is why when we talk about learning, that it's the same thing. Okay. It's unique to us. We all have we learn a little bit different. Each of us learn a little bit different because we are different. Okay. We're all unique in our own way. So I just wanted to remind you, it's not just when you're having an experience, it's, you know, how we are learning as well. Okay. Anybody have any questions? All right. Okay, one little thing. What time is it? 7:14. Okay, we can do this. So one of the things that we're going to talk about at the end, I'm going to give you like eight little tools for you to use when you're, trying to optimize your learning. Okay, when you're trying to learn a new skill and expedite that and learn faster and learn, more towards your own learning preference. Okay. So one of the things is going to be we get alert. Okay. That's a little breathing exercise. And I'm just going to tell you about it because I don't want, it's something that you can kind of do on your own. But there, I don't want anyone to get like super lightheaded or anything on while we're doing our program. And, so I'm just going to tell you about it. All it is, and what happens is, so we're just trying to get ourselves alert when we're going into a learning bout. We're going to school or we're going to practice or something. So what we do is we try and increase our breathing rate, and what it does is it expedites the release of adrenaline. Okay, so naturally, so it gives us that natural awakeness. Okay, so something like if you had a coffee, it would kind of maybe feel similar, but this is the actual release of adrenaline into your body so that you are alert, right? Does everyone know what that means? Like alert, when I'm alert, what happens when when adrenaline is released in my body? That's what gives me my alertness. So it's kind of like, have you ever heard of fight or flight? Right? So as in like if I'm getting chased by somebody who's like, I feel like they're this big scary person and now I'm running away from them, my adrenaline starts pumping. So I actually can like run faster and do things that I might normally not do because this person is coming after me. Or this animal, what a tiger's chasing me. Like there's some adrenaline, some serious adrenaline is coming through my body, right? So it increases my alertness and allows me to do what I need to do to get out of the way of that tiger. The same kind of thing, and we can kind of do that for ourselves. So what we do is we take about 25 to 30 breaths in through the nose. So you breathe it in through the nose and then out through the mouth about 25 to 30 times. It does not have to be fast. Okay. And I don't want you guys to do it right now. Okay. I will send you the information on it, but it's 25 to 30 breaths. And then we hold our breath. Okay. Because we're getting that oxygenated blood flowing through our body. So we can hold our breath a little bit. Then between 15 to 60 seconds, depending on how long you can hold your breath. You don't want it to be uncomfortable. We take a breath in and then we kind of hold it as long as we can that is comfortable. Okay. And what that does is it just gives us that little bit of adrenaline release to get us going in the morning, like do it in the morning, right? Before school or something like that, where we kind of maybe didn't have a great sleep. Okay. So that's one way we get alert. Then the other thing is focus. I'm going to get you guys to do this. And anybody at BLE who was in Arizona last year might have done this before. But this is just all this is getting focused. So you can do this like in your classroom. And all we do is we're going to focus on one object for 60 seconds. You can still blink, but we want to focus and try, a lot of times that we kind of like focus on something and then we kind of look away and we focus on something else. I want you guys to really focus on one spot. Okay. And sometimes it can be a little challenging, but the better you get at it, what it's doing, the longer you can focus on one spot, it's telling your brain that, okay, it's kind of priming the brain to go, yeah, it's time for me to stay focused. Okay. This is just a simple little trick for the brain. Okay. So I'm going to time it. I want you guys to pick something in your room or wherever you are, pick a spot. And I want you to focus on that for 60 seconds. Okay. Again, like you can blink. You don't have to not blink. Okay. Go ahead. All right, that's good. So were you able to stay focused on it without moving around at all or anything? Yeah, it's good. So again, it's just a little trick for you to get your brain kind of primed to, hey, we're going to learn some new stuff here. Here's a couple things you can do. Increase that adrenaline naturally a little bit, and by doing the breathing, and then also the little focus drill. Just a couple little things. You don't have to do them. I just want to share some tools with you so that you can optimize your performance and feel good about doing that. Okay. Any questions about that? Is it Caleb? Were you there? Did you do that before? Were you in Arizona then?
No, I wasn't for that.
You weren't, but maybe Caleb Nuttall. Were you there?
Like with BLE?
Yeah.
No, I wasn't with BLE.
Oh, okay. All right.
Micah was though.
Yeah, he was. That's right. We were in the indoor soccer facility. That's right. Okay. Okay, boys. This is how we learn, right? So it's kind of like a learning cycle. There's 4 parts. All right. First one is unconscious incompetence. This means I don't know what I don't know. Okay. There's something out there and I've never seen it. I've never touched it. I've never, felt it. I don't even know that it exists, right? That's unconscious incompetence. Okay, pretty simple. Okay, that's kind of like the first stage. You don't know that it even exists. Okay, I don't know what I don't know. Okay. Second stage is conscious incompetence. So now maybe something has been introduced to you, but you still don't know what it is. But what it means is now I'm consciously aware. I'm aware, hey, wow, this is new. I've never seen this before, but I don't know how to do it. I don't know what it is, right? But you're aware of it. There's an awareness. Okay. Does that make sense? So the first part is I don't know what I don't know. Second part is, all right, now I know what I don't know. I know that I don't know how to use this information or do this drill that someone's, talking about, but I know that it exists. Okay. Third piece is conscious competence. Okay. And this is where a lot of your learning happens. Okay. So this is where we're taking our reps. This is where now I know that I'm starting to learn this new skill, this new thing, that I didn't know before. And this is where, like playing baseball, we're practicing a new skill. We're putting in the reps, we're putting in the work. And this is really where sometimes we can get stuck. And because this is where maybe a new skill might get hard, or you're starting to struggle a little bit. Okay, putting in the reps, and we start to, we're not really good at it yet, and like we can get frustrated when you're not good at something. Sometimes we kind of are pretty hard on ourselves, right? And maybe at this point if this, whatever it is that we're learning or trying or been introduced to, if we don't really truly want to do this thing or learn this, there's a good chance that we're gonna give up and stop here. This is where we kind of find where we'll, it's hard. This is hard and I don't really want to do it anymore. And we stop doing things. And then what happens is the next step is unconscious competence. So if we push through this piece, if we get to the point where, hey, I've put in the reps, I'm dialed in on this, whatever this thing is that I'm doing, this new skill, this new math problem, this, whatever it is, and I push through that uncomfortableness, right? Where I have to really work hard. And I get to the point where now I've got unconscious competence. It means I don't have to think about how to do this thing anymore. I don't have to think about how to do this skill. Just like I was saying about brushing your teeth. Do you have to think about brushing your teeth? You just do it. You just walk over to your brain is still, your unconscious mind is telling your body what to do, right? But it's unconscious. You don't even know what's happening. You just walk over, grab a toothpaste, wet your toothbrush, whatever, put it on, and you just start brushing your teeth. And you could probably do like another thing while you're doing the brushing your teeth because it's just part of what you do. You've done it so many times, you don't have to think about it. It's like when you start driving, okay? You start driving and you don't know how to drive. You don't know how to drive. Okay, that's conscious incompetence. And then you start driving with your parents, or you start taking driving lessons, right? And it's not easy and you mess up a little bit, but you push through because it's important to you. You want to learn how to drive a car, you want to get your driver's license. And now at the point where you're like me, and I've been driving for many, many years, I don't have to think about how to drive my truck anymore, right? And imagine like if we had to think about, if it wasn't unconscious, right? And if we stayed in this conscious competence place right here, and we didn't kind of push through, we didn't get any better, and we just kind of stayed here, and it was like, imagine say, I don't know, is anybody even close to driving? You guys aren't really that close to driving yet. Ario, you're close? You're close? Yeah. So, we're kind of driving, or we're learning how to drive. And imagine if you had to get in the car every time, like if I'm my age and I have to get in the car and it's like, okay, what do I do with the key? Oh yeah, okay, the key goes over here. Yeah, I turn it on. I gotta make sure, check all my stuff, put it in drive, check again, go step on the gas. How fast is that? How efficient is that? So imagine if we kind of like we're learning something new as a hitter, right? And we kind of gave up on it. And then we go to hit. And we had to think about that thing. Oh yeah, coach told me to do this. And I got to put my leg here and pull my hands back, make sure I get my hips into it. Imagine if you had to tell yourself that as you were hitting. How efficient would you be as a hitter? Yeah. That's why it's important that we get to learn as many of those skills that are important to us, that we need to, to do the things that we want to do. We want to get to this unconscious competence. Okay. So that it just, those things that are important to us become just part of what we do. We don't have to think about it. Right? You don't have to think about how to get dressed. You don't have to think about how to brush your teeth. You don't have to think about, doing a lot of the things that you do, even throwing a baseball. You don't have to think about it. maybe you're tweaking some things and you're trying new grips or something like that, but you don't have to think about, okay, step, separate, you know, get the arm back, like all that stuff. You don't have to think about that. You just do it now because you've done it so many times because it's part of your unconscious memory. Your brain is still giving you the map, giving you the blueprint on how to do it. You just don't know because it's unconscious. Does that make sense? And so that's why for us, it's important, you know, when we did this learning assessment, okay, it talked about, I'm just going to pull mine up here. If you guys have it there, you can bring it out. What time is it? We got lots of time. Okay. That's why it's important when we did these representational systems, the preference, the different learning styles, it just can help you get to this place that you want to be, this unconscious competence when you're doing it. Understanding a little bit more about yourself and how you learn best. Okay, that's the important part. You guys are all unique. We're all unique. I'm unique. You guys are all unique, and we all do things a little bit different. We get to the same spot a lot, but we do things differently. Okay, so there's kind of like three main ways that we learn. Okay, that we take in information. Visual. I went to point, like you guys are sitting here with me. Hey, this right here. Yeah, I wish we could do this in a classroom. It's a lot. It's nice to just be together. Energy's different. It's fun. Maybe one day we'll be able to do that. So a visual learner. Okay, that means I like to see things, right? If someone could tell me something till they're blue in the face, but until I see it, I need, you know, I don't really understand it as the best that I could. Okay. And we all have all of these. We all use all of this, but we just generally have, you know, one that is kind of like stronger for us. Okay. So that's visual. Auditory is here. I need to hear something. All right. I can't just see it. And I need to hear instructions on how to do something for me to be able to do it. Not everybody needs to do that. All like to learn the best. Okay. And then kinesthetic. So kinesthetic means I'm hands-on. I like to touch. I need to touch it. I need to feel, you know, I need to do it myself. So when we're talking about baseball, here's the thing. So if I'm a coach and I'm saying, okay, guys, we're going to do this new drill. We're going to we're gonna work through the ball. We're gonna come around this cone over here, and I want you to get a good pathway to the ball. I want you to field the ball off your left foot and then a good pathway to first base and make the throw. So if I just tell you that, do you think you could do the drill efficiently? Maybe. If you've done it before, maybe. Right? But what if I took into mind that, you know, we have all these different types of learners. So as a coach, I go, okay, that's the drill we're going to do. I'm going to demonstrate it for you. Okay. And then I want you guys to do it. Okay. So that serves the purpose of everybody's learning style. Now, when you know that you learn better a certain way, because sometimes if I say that to you as a coach or as a teacher, or, you know, just do this, right? I don't show you how to do it, or I don't really explain it. You might not understand. It happens a lot, right? So knowing your own kind of where you stand in the preference, like which is your highest preference, will give you the opportunity to go, if you are strong in the visual learning, you can say to your coach, can you please show me that drill so I know how to do it? Right? And maybe he says yes, maybe he says no. I don't know. Some coaches might not want to, whatever. But if I had a player say that to me, I'm like, oh man, sorry. Like, yeah, I should have shown everybody. Right? Like, you want to be able to maximize your ability to learn something. So, as a coach, it's my responsibility to do that. But that's a whole other course. That's not a course for you guys. That's a course for coaches. But that's just learning about yourself. So, and maybe you need to, before you truly understand it, you need to do it yourself. You need to be hands-on to really understand it. Sometimes for even myself, you could tell me something, how to do something, and I might know how to do it. But until I see it and then do it myself, that's the only way that I'm going to really benefit from doing anything that I do. That's just the way I learn. I need to touch it and I need to see it. I don't really need to hear it. That's just not, but I need to see what they're doing. I need to see how to do something and then do it myself. And then once I do it myself, I got it. Right. So it's just knowing, this is the whole purpose of this, understanding the learning preferences was for you to raise a little bit of awareness, self-awareness about yourself so that you can ask questions. You can be curious about, how can I learn this better? Even in school, teacher, tells you something, but doesn't write it up on the board. And if you're a visual learner, guess what? You know what's going to really help you? If they write something on the board, right? Or, even it's funny, but like when my wife asked me to go to the store and get something, if she just tells me, I won't remember. I need it written down so I could see it and like have a piece of paper. That's just the way it is for me. I need to visually see things, right? And a lot of athletes are gonna be, there could possibly be a lot of kinesthetic in there too. Like, you need to be hands-on and do something for you to really truly understand it. Because really, if you've only been shown something and you say, yeah, I know how to do that, and you've never done it before, chances are you might not really know how to do it when it comes time to do it. So having to physically actually do it is going to probably benefit you. Okay. This auditory digital down here, a lot of times, it's kind of like a combination of all the learning styles. And it's really like, things have to make sense to you. Some people are just like, I don't understand why this is this way. I need to know why. Before I can move on, I need to know why. And that's normal. That's just another kind of, a learning style that is evident, in humans as well, right? Talking to myself a lot, and this doesn't make sense. I need to know why this is this way for me to learn it best. Okay. Questioning, why we're doing something. All right. Does that make sense? You guys understand that? Like, that there's like a preference for each of you. So I'm going to just tell you this, and then I'll ask you all to kind of just see what your preferences were, and see if, and I'm going to read some stuff to you and I'll send it to you as well. And you can go through it, and it'll kind of give you a little bit more insight into maybe yourself and how you can do things a little bit better from a learning perspective. Okay, so if you're a visual learner, if that's we're all visual learners, but if your preference was, your higher preference was visual, you need to see something, right? You're the type of person that maybe has a vision, like you are very good at using visualization. You get the picture, like, and you get a mental image in your head when someone tells you something. You're really creative that way. And I don't know if you've ever heard this, but like, so say someone tells you something and you'll be like, oh yeah, I see what you're saying. Have you ever heard someone say that? So that if because they use that language that that person uses, I see what you're saying, means that they're making a picture up in their head. So you tell them something and they're making a picture up in your head, or in their head, not in your head. It'd be hard for them to make a picture in your head, but they're making a picture in their head about what you've just told them. That's why they say, oh, I I see what you're saying. That means their preference is probably a visual learner. So auditory, really listen a lot. Really, maybe sitting there, instead of talking a lot, you actually sit there and just listen, right? And you're quiet. This person might say, oh yeah, I hear what you're saying. Or, oh yeah, that rings a bell. Yeah. Have you ever heard that before? So if you're an auditory learner, like if that's your preference or your higher preference, that's the kind of the thing that you're, one of the tendencies. These are just simple stuff. There's more obviously that we can talk about, but your auditory learner is really someone who is going to be listening a lot. And maybe people even say, oh, he's so quiet, but it's just you like to just sit there and just take it all in and take in all that information, and just listen, right? Did anyone get high auditory on their test or their assessment? Do you know? High A? Was it anyone's highest on your mark? No? All right. And then kinesthetic, feel, you really grasp the concept by doing it yourself. Okay, really kind of catch on. A kinesthetic person too, and this is why it's good, like athletes have, sometimes a higher kinesthetic, not always, obviously. But a kinesthetic learner is good under pressure. Just as a general trait for that, can be good under pressure. Okay. Does anyone want to know about their score? Want me to go through it? Like, I can go through it quickly. Okay, we don't have a lot. Let me see. Yeah, we got some time. If someone wants me to go through their score a little bit with them, or just tell them kind of a little bit what it means. No? Nobody?
I'm just going through my score right now and trying to
Oh, okay.
calculate it.
Okay. Yeah, no worries. Again, this is just an awareness for you guys, okay? In your score, when you total up your columns, did it make sense to everybody, or did your parents help you, or if you did it, does it make sense? Yeah. Okay. So when I send you, because no one wants to talk about it, when I send you the sheets on the different styles, the different systems, you can go through it and go through your scores. And if you scored high, if your highest was visual and kinesthetic, then you can look at the visual and see what the tendencies are, and it's just for your information, just to go, oh yeah, I am like that, right? I know that it was, a lot of the stuff is true for me, and a lot of it isn't. It's just, it's just kind of a guide for you. All right.
My mom showed me the video, but I didn't see anything about it, like a test on there or like a writing thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know. I sent this week's video, or this week's email, and it had attached to it was a PDF. And so you can just, yeah, maybe ask her to print it off, and then she can, you can do it and she'll help you with it, or maybe if you need to.
Yeah,
And then,
I'll ask her about it.
yeah, okay. Sounds good. Again, it's just something for you. It's not, we don't have time to like go into hours and hours about this. It was just more of a self-awareness for you guys to kind of learn a little bit about yourself and how you learn best, and the things that maybe you can do to get some more information when you are trying to learn something that's important to you. Maybe you don't understand, and a lot of times we'll just sit there in silence, right? We don't understand, and we think that everyone else understands. So we sit there, we're going, oh my God, I have no idea what this person's talking about, right? And we sit there in silence, and then we don't learn. And that is, kind of why we do this. So you have that awareness that, hey, maybe if I ask the teacher to show me something a little more, or ask my coach to show me, or can you just tell me again? I didn't really understand. Then that way, yeah, it just helps you, again, learn the things that you want to learn, and the things that are important to you. It's just another tool. It's just another tool for the toolbox. Okay. So what can we do now that we know this? Well, some of you have done it. Now that you know this about yourself, and that there's different ways that we can learn and how we can optimize that, different ways to learn, okay, so that we can get the results that we want. There's some things you can do. Some of these you might want to write down, because they were not on the, I added a few today. So I thought it was important to add a few. So number one, what can you do to optimize your personal learning? Okay. Ask questions. Doesn't matter what type of learning preference you have, but ask questions. Be curious. If you don't know something, you don't have to sit there in silence and think that nobody else, everyone else knows what this, coach or teacher, or, even your parents are talking about, right? A lot of times we sit there in silence, and I'll bet you if you ask a question, if you don't understand, I'll bet you there's more people that don't understand, right? And so if that thing is important to you, whatever that is that you're trying to learn or grow, if it's important to you, ask questions and be curious. Okay. What can I do here? Can you just tell me again, or explain it again? I'm not sure. I don't understand. It's okay to not understand, right? We don't have to sit there in silence, and then we get left behind, especially like I use math a lot, but especially in a math class, right? If you miss out a bit, and you get kind of falling behind in those classes, it's tough to catch up sometimes, right? So asking questions at the appropriate time will help you in optimizing your learning. Okay. Number two, get alert. So that breath work that I talked about, 25 to 30 breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth, and then hold your breath for 15 to 60 seconds, depending on how long you can hold your breath comfortably. Okay. It's not about holding your breath till your face turns red. It's just about holding your breath to let that oxygenated blood get into your body and release that adrenaline. Okay. And then once we hold our breath, we take a breath in, a rescue breath, and then hold the breath for as long as we can comfortably. Okay. And that kind of brings our heart rate back down. The adrenaline will increase our heart rate. And then get focused, the 60-second stare, like we did, just another tool for you to help you stay focused. And when you're focused, you're going to give yourself a better chance to learn whatever it is that you are trying to learn. Okay. And repetitions, there's no substitute for repetitions. The more things that we can get into unconscious competence, okay, it's just the way that we do it, because we put in so many reps on these particular things, whether it is in school or whether it is on the field, right? Doesn't matter. The more reps we put in, the more work we put in, the better that we will get at doing what we're doing and get to the point where we're at unconscious competence. And when we get to unconscious competence, you guys, that means we can move on to another thing. If we try and move on to do too many things when we haven't learned kind of the foundation, the base of what we're trying to learn, we can get overwhelmed and get stuck. Okay. So that's why we want to try and get to unconscious competence as much as we can before we move on to the next bout of learning. Number 5, embrace your errors. Okay. When we're learning something, if we're making errors more than about 15% of the time, that task is generally too hard for us. We're not optimizing our learning. Okay. If we're failing more than 15% of the time at a certain drill or a certain bout of learning, then that is generally, for our brain, that is too much failure for us to maximize our performance. Okay. And to really truly learn. We need failure because that's how we learn. Okay. But if we're failing too much, it doesn't allow us to, embrace that learning. Okay. Because we get discouraged. Rest intervals. So we want to make sure too that we don't try and just go 90 miles an hour for an hour and a half. Okay. Taking little rest intervals will help our brain take in the information that we've learned. If we just go, we don't give our brain a chance to take in that information and really solidify it. Okay. And get those neural connections in our brain going. And it's as simple as like a 10-second pause. Okay. And it's like when we take those pauses, it's like 10 times the learning ability by taking pauses in what we do while we're learning some new skills or new, whatever it is that we're learning. Okay. Super important to give our brain just a little quick break as we're learning. Okay. And then reward. We talked about number 7 is reward. We talked about it before. In the, acknowledging the small steps. Okay. On the way. Do you guys remember the ladders, the 2 ladders? The one ladder had the guy right at the top. The other ladder had big steps. The guys at the bottom struggling. Okay. So reward. Let's look back on the things that we have learned and really acknowledge that to ourselves. Okay, that keeps us motivated. Wow, I really have come a long way. I'm not where I want to be yet, but man, I'm way farther than I thought I would be. Right? That feels a lot better. Even though I haven't made it to where I want to be, now I'm motivated to keep going because I really have done I've improved a ton. But if we don't stop to kind of reflect and reward ourselves, then we could possibly give up and we get discouraged because we didn't actually get to the top yet, okay, of where we want to be to that goal. So really rewarding, reflect on our progress as we're getting through stuff. Okay. And here's the number 1 resource for you when you are learning. And this is the number 1 most underutilized, readily available performance enhancer that you have. There is no energy drink that will give you this. Okay? Deep, restful sleep, brain restorative sleep is the absolute number 1 point in optimizing your learning. We're going to talk a lot about, not a lot, but we're going to talk about sleep next week. When we in our, oh geez. Okay. Get deep, restful sleep. Okay. We're going to talk about how you can do that, but it is the most important thing for you, especially, I mean, it's for all people. You know, you guys right now, I think, you know, as young people, you can function okay on, you know, on limited sleep, but over time, chronic sleep habits of staying up super late and getting up super early, and then, you know, you know, we go for it all day long, and then we go to practice, and then we, you know, then we stay up late, we're on our phones and we're doing all this stuff. And I'm not saying you can't do that. I'm just saying one of the ways to give yourself a really good chance to be successful is to find ways to get that good restorative brain healthy sleep. Okay, we're going to talk about how you can do that next week. I'm not going to give you all the ways this week. One of the big things, one of the things I will say is go to bed when you're tired. Doesn't matter what time it is. If you're tired and you push through, have you ever you know, felt tired and you're like super tired, and then you kind of push through it, and then you're like, it's like midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, and you're like, oh my God, I'm wide awake. Like I was tired an hour ago, now I'm wide awake. I can't, you know, I there's no way I'm going to sleep right now. Anyone ever feel like that? Where you kind of push through that tiredness and then you're wide awake? That's your body. That's your body releasing chemicals, you know, that are keeping you awake, because they tried to put you to sleep. They tried to help you go to sleep when you were tired, and then you didn't, and then your brain goes, okay, well, I guess they want to stay awake, so let's release this other, you know, these other chemicals in the body, and you know, keep you awake now. So, anyways, we're going to talk a lot about that. That's kind of I love that stuff. We're going to talk a little bit about sleep, nutrition, self-care, hydration, you know, some different things next week, okay, to help you optimize your performance. And this right here, there was a quote that I found. It says, be a learn-it-all, not a know-it-all. Okay, I want to learn it all. You don't want to walk around, you don't want to be that person that just go, oh, I know how to do that. I don't need, no thanks. Do you want to know how to do this? Nope, I know how to do it. Right? Be a learn it all. I want to learn from everybody. I don't care who is talking, or, you know, there's always something, there's always an opportunity for us to learn and grow as athletes, but also as people too. Okay? So be a good listener, be a learn it all, not a know it all. All right? Any questions about that stuff, guys? It's not a great picture, but it's pretty pixelated. Quote for the day, quote for the week. Today, do what others won't, so tomorrow you can do what others can't. Okay, that just means put in the work, put in the extra work. If you really truly want to achieve your goals, if you truly really want to achieve your dreams, there is no substitute for putting in the work. Okay, today, do what others won't, so tomorrow you can do what others can't. Does that make sense? I love that quote. We're going to put it up in our locker room at Douglas. All right, boys. Does anyone have a question? Any questions about it? I know it's some information, and I will send you some more stuff on the learning, and you can go over it with your parents. And, you know, sometimes it's a good laugh, and yeah, you're like that, or, you know, no, I'm not like this at all. But it's just for your awareness, okay? I just want you to be aware. The whole point of this whole program is that there's different ways you can do things to get a different result. If you're not getting the results you want, then if you don't know there's a different way to do it, then you don't know, and we feel stuck, right? And we get frustrated. But now you guys know. Now that you know that there's a different way to do something, and that opens up curiosity. When you know there's a different way to do something to get a different result, now you're curious. Okay, and curiosity opens up endless possibilities for you to be as successful as you ever want to be in whatever you do in your life, okay? And you have everything you need inside you already to be as successful as you ever want to be. I'm just here to share these tools with you. You got to find it in yourself, and you're the one who has to use those tools, right? So now it's a choice, and choice is powerful. And you guys now have a choice, okay? You guys good? Next week, I'm going to get you guys to bring, I will send it in the email, but I want to get you guys to bring a snack. I want you to bring a healthy snack and a drink. Okay? And we're going to go over some stuff next week. Okay? We're going to look at well, I won't tell you what we're going to look at, but I want to see what snacks you bring. And yeah, like a snack you would take to maybe school, like that's in your lunch or something like that. Okay? No bag of veggies, okay? I know everyone knows that veggies are good for you. Let's see what else you got. Okay? Have a good one, boys. Thanks for joining me. And yeah, we'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Brad.
Okay?
Thank you, Brad.
Thank
All right.
you.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Yeah, see ya.
I'm an auditory visual.
Oh, I lost you.